Obviously, the model railway project runs over a local area network, a LAN, and doesn't need to scale over a wider area network. So that reference can be removed. The reader detects a tag and passes it to a controller, which makes the details about the tag available at an IP address on the local network. Next, we can add the Raspberry Pi back to the system configuration. Once we install the Node-RED application, it can poll the local network on a port number assigned to the Pi for any RFID tag or tags that have been detected by the RFID reader. Boot up the Raspberry Pi. From inside the Pi, we need to quickly confirm that the Pi can see the IP address that we've discovered for the controller. So open the terminal and type ping together with the controller's IP address. Yep, pings were successful. Next, we can install Node-RED. Node-RED installation takes 3 to 4 minutes. It's okay to press enter to accept the Node-RED default settings. These can be modified later if needed. Open terminal and start Node-RED by typing node-red. Your Node-RED instance is running on port 1880 on localhost, so open a browser and type in http://127.0.0.1 with the port 1880. When the Node-RED application opens, you'll see commonly used nodes on the left. Next, we have to import the Wiegand nodes we want to use for our project. Open the side menu and click Manage Palette. Perfect. So let's do a quick test to confirm everything's set up correctly. So most of the nodes on the left side panel are the default nodes that come with every installation of Node-RED. And there's also the extra nodes that we downloaded and installed for uhppoted. For this first test, open up the top set of nodes marked common and then drag in an inject and a debug node. Then open up the uhpp set of nodes and drag in a get listener node. First open the inject node. The uhpp nodes use JSON format. So once you have the serial number from your RFID controller, put it into the curly brackets like this, controller, colon, with the serial number. Next, open the get listener node and press the plus sign to configure it. So the timeout of 5,000 milliseconds or 5 seconds is fine. Bind address 0.0.0.0 is the universal bind address for all devices connected to the home network, so no changes needed for the bind address. The broadcast address will need to be updated to the broadcast address used by your home network. To find the broadcast address for your home network, open Terminal on Pi, type in ifconfig, and under the section for WLAN, make a note of the broadcast address together with the iNet address. The iNet address is the IP address the Pi is using on the network. For the listen address, type in the IP address the Pi is using on the network, followed by the port 60001. The broadcast address will be on port 60,000. As a default address, it can either be typed in or omitted. Right, the flow is ready to run. Make sure you're in the debug panel on the right-hand side, then click Deploy. Press the trigger button on the inject node to run the flow. Okay, so if the test was successful, then the debug panel should return an object, similar to this one. Breaking down what we can see in the object returned by the getListener node. Device ID is the controller serial number. Address is the listening address. Bear in mind the model railway project is using RFID readers that are usually used as part of a building access control management program. So the listening address here is configured for some other specific software and not Node-RED. So we'll need to make a small change to the configuration. Then the RFID controllers will know to send RFID data to an IP address that the Raspberry Pi is listening to. Likewise, the port number needs to be set to 60001. And interval can be left at 0. This way we only get updates on new RFID tag detection events. To get the configuration working the way we want it to, drag in a set listener node. Open the set listener node and select config as our existing configuration. Open the inject node and we'll type in the changes we want to make to the listener IP address and port number. Type in the changes in JSON format inside curly braces. The serial number of the controller gets entered as a number, so no speech marks. Address is the IP address of the Raspberry Pi. Port is being set to 60001. If interval is not already 0, then include interval. Connect the set listener node to the flow. Deploy and then trigger the flow from the inject node. The Pi is now set up to listen and receive RFID tag events. Drag a listen node and a debug node into the flow. Okay, ready to test. Deploy the flow and then pass a tag over the RFID reader. Which should immediately appear in the debug panel. Or for further information on using the uhppoted nodes, search on Node-RED uhppoted, which provides further information and examples on the UHPP nodes.